The eyes of the world were on Munich as the annual security conference commenced. This high-profile event, known for its gathering of global leaders and its focus on international security, took on even greater significance this year. The ongoing conflict in Ukraine cast a long shadow over the proceedings. All eyes turned to Vice President J.D. Vance as he took the stage. His task was to articulate the United States' position on the future of Ukraine. The stakes were incredibly high. Vance, known for his dares, measured demeanor, and sharp intellect, faced a room filled with dignitaries, diplomats, and defense experts. When the weight of the situation was palpable, and the war in Ukraine, now in its third year, had resulted in unimaginable suffering and geopolitical instability. The world was desperate for a resolution, but the path to peace remained elusive. Vance's presence at the conference was not merely symbolic. It represented a crucial opportunity. The United States, under the leadership of President Trump, was actively engaged in diplomatic efforts to bring an end to the conflict. Vance's speech was eagerly anticipated. It was seen as a key indicator of the direction these negotiations might take. The world waited with bated breath to hear what he had to say. A significant development at the Munich Security Conference was the meeting between Vice President Vance and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. The two leaders met privately on the sidelines of the conference. Their discussion was said to have centered on the prospects for peace in Ukraine. Details of the meeting remained closely guarded. The meeting between Vance and Zelensky carried immense weight given the current geopolitical climate. The war in Ukraine had reached a critical juncture. Both sides had suffered heavy losses, yet a clear path to peace remained elusive. The international community watched closely. Hopes were high that this meeting could signal a breakthrough in negotiations. The optics of the meeting were significant in themselves. Vance, representing the United States, engaged in direct dialogue with Zelensky. This demonstrated the United States' commitment to finding a resolution to the conflict. It also underscored the importance of Ukraine's perspective in any peace negotiations. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth found himself at the center of controversy in the days leading up to the Munich Security Conference. His comments regarding Ukraine's potential NATO membership and the restoration of its pre-2014 borders sparked a firestorm of debate. Hegseth initially suggested that these goals might be unrealistic. This ignited concerns among Ukrainian officials and their allies. Hegseth's remarks, however, were quickly clarified. He emphasized that all options remained on the table in negotiations. This clarification aimed to reassure Ukraine and its supporters that the United States remained committed to finding a solution that addressed Ukraine's security concerns. The debate surrounding NATO expansion and Ukraine's borders underscored the complexity of the issues at play. Russia viewed NATO expansion as a direct threat to its security interests. Ukraine, on the other hand, saw NATO membership as crucial to its long-term security. President Trump's involvement in diplomatic efforts to resolve the Ukraine conflict added another layer of intrigue to the Munich Security Conference. In the days leading up to the conference, President Trump spoke separately with both President Zelensky and Russian President Vladimir Putin These high-stakes calls aimed to facilitate dialogue and explore potential avenues for peace. President Trump's direct engagement reflected his administration's commitment to finding a diplomatic solution to the crisis. The content of these calls remained confidential. However, the fact that they took place signaled a potential thawing of relations. It offered a glimmer of hope amidst the ongoing tensions. The international community closely watched President Trump's diplomatic maneuvers. His unconventional approach to foreign policy had yielded both successes and criticisms. However, there was no denying the significance of his involvement in the Ukraine crisis. The outcome of his efforts could have far-reaching consequences for the region and the world.